And what is going on, everybody? Welcome back into the AFC South Roundtable presented by Roundtable Sports. And also, guys, powered by BetUS. And guys, if you guys are interested in getting in on any of this action that's coming up, whether it be college football playoffs or, the NFL regular season, NFL playoffs is right around the corner, as we all know. BetUS is going to give you an awesome promo code to use. YouTube 150 will get you a 150% deposit bonus. That means if you put down $100, you're going to see $250 show up in your account. So a really, really great deal over there. So now we can go ahead and bring in some of the representatives. We will go ahead and bring in my fellow tanking companion. We have Michael Bishop, repping the Tennessee Titans. What's going on, man?
You're not wrong with the tanking situation. Just seems like we just keep being neck and neck week and week. So we'll see how it goes for these last three games.
And next up, we got someone who's very frustrated coming in here. Okay, he was cussing pre-show. We were trying to calm him down. We told him to take his medication. I don't know. I haven't seen him go off screen, so it's going to be a rough show for this guy. We have Derek from the Bring the Juice podcast. What's going on, Derek?
Rage, sadness, invitation, humiliation. It's what I'm feeling right now about this game. And I am full on break everything down at this point. It has officially come to that point. And yeah, the Indianapolis Colts have shown once again why they are a laughing stock amongst a lot of people in the NFL and why they are just a team that is okay with being mediocre. They just find a way to do that to themselves every single year.
And so this is a little bit different of a show. We have Derek who's very, very down, but we have a guy that's on the opposite end of the spectrum. And I don't do this proudly, okay? I had to change this lower third. Houston Texans are once again back-to-back AFC South champions. And we're going to go ahead and bring in Ruben to the show. What's going on, Ruben?
What's going on, handsome gentlemen? I missed you all so much. Back-to-back AFC South champions. And hey, the Roundtable has only known one AFC South champion, man, and that is the Houston Texans. What's going on, boys? How you feeling? Derek, how's it going? Because I know last week you were, we're going to do it. We're going to do it. We're going to stay with the division away from the Houston Texans. Now look at you with your hat backwards, your goatee, your yellow sweater. Look at you.
You can sit there all high and mighty, knowing that this division is just absolutely dog water. All right, that's fine. Go ahead, sit on your high horse. It's all good. I know that my team has no chance of succeeding over yours until we get rid of the trash GM that's calling the shots for this team.
And Anthony Richardson too, right?
Gone.
I'm 50-50 on him right now. I'm 50-50. I'm not even I'm almost at the point where I have very little confidence, at least with this regime.
Oh boy. Yeah, things are a bit down right now. I know. The thing about the Indianapolis Colts is, man, they'll get you down and you say, you know what, this team sucks. They are not going to bring me in. And then they win a couple games. And then all of a sudden they get to a game where it's a must-win game and they fall flat. That's honestly the story of the Indianapolis Colts, especially under Chris Ballard, isn't it?
Yep, pretty much. And then you know what's going to happen. The Indianapolis Colts are going to win these last three games and barely, and then they're going to be 9-8. They're going to be like 18th in the draft order or some shit like that. And then, Chris Ballard's going to come out there at the end of the year and say like, oh, we were so close. It's like, shut the hell up. We've heard that so many times. Like, we're not that close. You just keep feeling like it's okay to be mediocre because you don't want to actually do your job and actually get players in here that'll actually make this team better.
A Gage with a $2 donation says, bargain bid Ballard strikes again.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's
struck again.
That's his
and
thing,
we were
man.
Fooled. And you know what? I'll sit here and say it. I can't believe I was fooled. I was fooled by the message that the Indianapolis Colts were going to turn a corner. I was fooled into thinking that in some way, somehow, that this regime was going to figure it out, and they're not. they're not going to figure it out. This team will always be a step behind when Chris Ballard is the one making the calls for this team. So
I'm kept Gardner Minshew, man. We told you in the offseason you should have kept.
It ain't about Minshew.
Gardner Minshew.
It is not about Minshew.
Hey, the Raiders would be in a much better situation. Like you notice the Raiders, they beat the Baltimore Ravens with Minshew. They were doing good. Then now without Minshew, they're the worst team in the NFL. So definite talking point there for you. But we'll go to the Indianapolis Colts a little bit later. I mean, first we got to talk about the Houston Texans. They win the AFC South. So now all of us are kind of in their rear view mirror. The Texans pretty much dominated this division. I think they're 4-1 against the AFC South. Still have another game against the Tennessee Titans. Can the Titans sweep them? I know the Texans swept both the Jaguars and the Colts, but with that said, Ruben, now that your focus is kind of toward the playoffs, and obviously you guys will be hosting an AFC wild card playoff game. It's looking like you guys will most likely have the number 4 seed. So that will probably at this point maybe match you up with the Baltimore Ravens. I guess going forward, how are you feeling about the Houston Texans' chances of really going and actually making a move in the playoffs?
Yeah, I feel like the only thing that you can be confident in this Houston Texans team, and that is the defense. This defense, man, against great quarterbacks, they've been pretty much the lead. They picked off Jared Goff 5 times, picked off Jordan Love twice against Josh Allen. He went 9 of 30 against his defense. And, just Sunday, we gave two of these nuts, right? Picked him off 3 times, just made him look silly. This defense is what gives you confidence going into the postseasons. You have 2 double-digit sack guys in Will Anderson Jr. and Danielle Hunter. And, Danielle Hunter leads the league in pressures, 81. The next closest is Trey Hendrickson, who has 70. And this is without Jalen Petrie. This is without Azeez Al-Shaair, currently serving his 3-game suspension. Once this defense gets healthy again, it's going to be scary. And you hope with the new offensive line that the Texans put together against Miami, they get some, some familiarity with each other, and they're ready to go come the postseason. But honestly, boys, I'm not expecting this offense to do a lot going forward. They are what they are. But this defense, this secondary, is elite for the Houston Texans, man, and they could definitely win you a game in the postseason.
So are you pretty much in the camp of we have a ceiling, and that's because the offense for the Houston Texans just isn't moving at all, and maybe defense can win championships, and this defense can ride you and get turnovers and be able to edge out teams that way?
Yeah, no, absolutely. With the second half offense, it's still horrible for the Houston Texans. They did score a touchdown, though, but that was in the first drive of quarter 3. The rest of the way, they scored nothing. The Texans also have 7 games this year with no offensive touchdown in the second half. So, yes, our motto right now is this defense can win you some games. Put up 20 to 24 points and trust that D'Amico's unit can win. We just saw it against the Miami Dolphins, man. They were winners of 4 out of their last 5 coming into this game, averaging, 30-plus points in those 4 wins, and you absolutely just shut them down. And you're hoping that if your offense catches lightning in the bottle and the way this defense has been playing all year, you feel like you have a puncher's chance. I'm not going to call us contenders right now until we see what we could do against Kansas City and Baltimore. But, right now we're a defensive-driven team.
All right, so we'll see how you guys look over the course of the next 2 weeks, because a couple of tough games coming up. In the next couple of weeks, you have the Ravens and you have the Chiefs. So 2 games against definite playoff teams. So we're really going to see how the Houston Texans fare against one of these upper echelon teams. We see them do good. I mean, they beat the Bills early in the year. Then obviously they went toe to toe with the Detroit Lions, but now you're going to play ball deep into December. We'll see how look kind of as a playoff preview. So next I want to go ahead and go over to the Tennessee Titans. I'm curious with you guys, because I know, you guys beat the Texans a few weeks ago and you guys are feeling pretty good about yourselves. Will Levis was looking a lot better, but against the Bengals, he was benched after throwing another pick 6. I guess where you guys are right now, I mean, on Tankathon, you're at number 6 overall. What are you guys looking at when it comes to who's going to be quarterback for you next year? Are you looking at Are people wanting to maybe get a quarterback? Is number 6 too far away in the NFL draft to be able to get one? Are you looking at maybe trying to bring in a veteran? Where are you at right now with Will Levis in the future of the quarterback position for the Titans?
Well, as of right now, Will Levis is going to be riding the pine, at least for the next foreseeable future. So, Mason Rudolph's going to come in, handle business, whatever business that is in these last 3 division games. So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. I mean, as for the quarterback situation, it's hard to say right now. You got free agency, you have the draft, but you've only got 2 guys right now in the draft that seem to be the darlings of 2025. And free agency, you probably have maybe 2 quarterbacks. And Sam Darnold, to me, is going to command at least $50 million a year. So are the Titans willing to spend that kind of money in order to get a guy that I think is just better suited to play for Minnesota, period? So there are a lot of questions, and I really wish I had better answers to give, but holy hell, we have just basically just shit the bed in the quarterback situation. So Derek, you're not alone. So
where is your optimism level about kind of the future of the Tennessee Titans? Were you guys kind of expecting to be at this point? Were you guys expecting a little bit better? Were you right about where you are? Like, when you actually look ahead to 2025, do you feel like you have, the right head coach lead this thing into this offseason and potentially another year of kind of a rebuilding Tennessee Titans?
I think with Rand and Callie right now, I think you've got the GM. I think you've got the head coach. Right now, it's just giving them the year to break it down, see what they did right, see what they did wrong, and just build off that. I mean, they've had some success with getting the draft right. They found some talent, shout out to Devondre Sweat. So they're getting some guys in at the right spots, but right now it's just trying to find that quarterback position. What are they going to do long-term with the future? Do they bring in a veteran? Do they go through the draft? Is there a hidden gem? Who knows at this point?
Yeah, and Sweat may have the nastiest stiff arm since Derrick Henry over there in Nashville. So
we're definitely seeing some throwback there. So
yeah,
shout out to the Angry Awards winner of Week 15. So
yeah,
Tennessee won something this week, so I'll give them that.
Yeah, that was definitely some good stuff. So now I know we've had Derek kind of heated about the Indianapolis Colts. So I'm curious about the future of you guys. Like, do you think that now is finally the time where Chris Ballard, since he's been the GM of the Indianapolis Colts, he's seen the Jaguars, Titans, and Texans all win the AFC South, but he has yet to win one as a GM. Do you feel like he is going to ultimately be the sacrificial lamb? Steichen and his crew get another year, then if all goes bad in a playoff mandate, then you guys will move forward and the GM will finally kind of get his own head coach in the building. How are you feeling about this team going forward?
I'll be honest with you. I don't know. I don't really know. You ask the majority of the fan base, they will tell you that we're officially done with Chris Ballard. Like, officially, he should not be around. As far as Steichen and AR, I don't know. That one's 50-50. That one is tough. I again, if you brought in a new GM and they decided, okay, we're going to keep Steichen and AR, we're going to see what we have with them. If they don't start producing right away when I get here, then I'm firing them, then that's fine. If the GM decided we're going to go a new direction because I have a different way that I want to do things, I could care less at this point, to be completely honest with you. The problem is that you are what feels like in a situation where it's an all or nothing situation, because the problem that Ballard has put with this team is that there are aspects to this team that are in win now mode, defensive and offensive players that are legitimately good enough to be on Super Bowl contending teams to win Super Bowls. DeForest Buckner, Quentin Nelson, guys like that actually are elite at what they do. And yet you have other positions, and honestly, it's some of the most important positions in the game. Quarterback, cornerback, secondary mainly. You have players in those areas that are super, super young and inexperienced, and you're telling yourself, okay, we're going to let them grow. We need to get continuity. We need to see what we have with them. So you have aspects of this team that's in win now mode, but you have other parts of this team that are not ready to go. They're young, they're developing. And that is not a team that is in win now mode. That's not. But what we heard from Ballard over the last several years is we're right there. We're right there every single time. And we have not made it back to the playoffs since 2020 with a 39-year-old Phillip Rivers at that time, and probably the most experienced team that we had at that time. That was the team that took it to the playoffs, but we lost to the Bills in round one. Since then, you lost your final two games in 2021, didn't make the playoffs when you had a 97% chance to make it, when you just had to beat the Raiders and the Jaguars, who were two of the worst teams in football that year.
Hey,
2020, you went 4-13. You finished with the 4th overall pick in the draft after the year because all the guys you did bring in, they didn't do anything to help you. And you had a coaching staff that lost the locker room. And then in 2023, your young rookie quarterback gets hurt. You have a rookie head coach and all these different things, and you were a few plays away from making the playoffs, but lost that one. And then this year, it felt like in the entirety of the group just completely lost the plot. Like it feels like the entirety of the team has lost its identity. And so I am fully on board with getting Chris Ballard out of here. I don't know. I doubt that they'll do it. Because the problem is if you do get rid of him, are you going to be able to find a GM that is going to be able to do what he wants to do, right? Because if you fire Chris Ballard, is the GM that you're going to bring in actually want to keep Steichen, or does he want to replace him with somebody else? You don't know. And if that's the case, you may not get the coaching candidate that you want. That might be an issue going into it. So it feels like you give it one more year, and if Steichen and AR and the rest of the team don't figure it out, then it's get rid of everyone. Get rid of AR, get rid of Steichen, get rid of Ballard, get rid of the coaching staff, get rid of everything. And then you start all over again. The entire organization flipped upside down. Or you do a little bit of some kind of mix of it this year. I don't know, but I am so done with Chris Ballard. It is time to get him out of the building.
wow. So we know how you feel about Chris Ballard. You know, I definitely want to get your take on Anthony Richardson because, you know, now he's started a few games and it's really tricky with Anthony Richardson because, man, his ceiling is so intriguing, but, man, like his floor can just be so low. I mean, zero touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Like he's, you know, 45% completion percentage, another sub 50% completion percentage, 172 yards passing. It's just, this guy is extremely volatile. Like, do you feel like he can at least stabilize his play to where, like, you know, his highs aren't, he can get his floors a little bit closer to what his highs are?
Well, I mean, he did have a touchdown in that game. It was a rushing touchdown on the opening drive. It was a 23-yard touchdown run, but I know what you were saying. See, that's the problem I come with this, is that in the first 2 drives, the Indianapolis Colts looked phenomenal. In the first drive, you went 10 plays for 70 yards and a touchdown. The Denver Broncos threw an interception on their first drive. You went 14 plays for 52 yards, didn't quite get the touchdown, but you scored points. You got points out of it. Like at the very beginning, this thing looked like, okay, here we go. This is the Indianapolis Colts that we wanted to see. For the remainder of the game, Anthony Richardson and the entire offense looked discombobulated. Now, I will sit here and say that I think that there is major fault on both ends of this. I have blamed Shane Steichen a lot this year for how they game planned. They knew that they were going to be down a bunch of offensive linemen in this game against a good front with Denver. You still tried to throw the football down the field a lot in this game, and it made no sense. And not to mention, in the beginning part of the game, you were running the football with Anthony Richardson early, and it was working. I mean, he was getting whatever he wanted running the football, but yet we didn't do that in the second half, and I don't understand why you keep going away from things that were working. Now, the other problem that I have is the fact that Anthony Richardson, yes, Shane Steichen needs to adapt his game plan better to help you, but he can't hold your hand the whole time, dude. Like, you have to make the easy stuff happen. And sometimes he doesn't. Like, there were several times I'm watching some of these plays back, and Will Mallory is cutting on a seam route in the middle of the field, and it's wide open. Instead, he's throwing a 30, 40-yard pass down the field on a 50-50 contested ball. There's other times when Jonathan Taylor or Tyler Goodson is open in the flat. You know, he get a couple yards out of it, but no, he's not. He doesn't immediately jump to that. He goes with the deep pass first. And so it's clear that there is a lot of mental aspect to this game that he needs to still learn, in that you cannot go deep with the ball every single time you throw it. You can't do that. You have to, if it's not open when you see it immediately, you have to dump it down. Like, I know that's not your bread and butter, but it's the way of the NFL. It's how the NFL operates. It's how every successful NFL offense does their game, is by throwing checkdowns and allowing the running backs and the wide receivers on the screens to do the work after the catch. That's what they need to do. So you need to do your job and not throw the 50-50 ball every time and go down the field. Now, as far as the remainder of this game, it was another classic example of, again, his teammates letting him down also. Yes, he didn't do a great job in this game, but his team once again did not help him in any way, shape, or form.
That's all I've heard from you all year.
That they had, the amount of drops that we had in this game again, and it's just frustrating that the entirety of this team continues week in and week out to just not know how to play comprehensive football. I don't understand it. And again, I'm not passing blame to one particular person. I said it all the time. Anthony Richardson needs to be better. But when everyone else around him is failing him also, I can't sit here and say that I can fully evaluate whether or not this guy is going to get better. There's clearly things he needs to be better at, but I don't know what his ceiling is if his tight ends are dropping every pass that he throws to them, or if guys are running wrong routes. Or
dude, you've been having this conversation all year.
I mean, just call it what it is, Derek. I mean, sometimes you got to call it. Sometimes you just got to break up. Sometimes you got to break up.
And of every team in the NFL this year, because it's not a fluke, and I'm not saying it as a scapegoat. It's true. This team has been dog shit this year. This whole offense. Jonathan Taylor keeps getting hurt. The offensive linemen are trash this year because half the time they're hurt or unavailable, and the backup guys are not good enough. Shane Steichen is not
on the quarterback.
Well. Anthony
he doesn't want to put blame on the quarterback, Michael.
And the guys that you paid big money to do something this year didn't do anything for you. And especially in the biggest game of the year.
Derek,
Jonathan Taylor and Michael Pittman did that to you.
It's ridiculous how you put you don't put majority of the blame on your quarterback who you took number 4 overall.
Yeah, why would
I've been hearing you blame. I've been hearing you since the preseason blame everyone else but the quarterback. You blame everyone else but the quarterback since the preseason. Your boy just sucks. You're
like a scorned ex. You're like a scorned ex. You're going to blame everybody but the problem.
Yeah, blame everyone. We were about to go 20-7 on Denver, but Jonathan Taylor decides to drop a ball at the half-yard line. You would have been up 2 scores to start the second half. It changed the momentum of the entire game.
Just let it go.
It's been that way all year.
Embrace the quarterback suck, dude. Embrace it.
Did I not just say
You would
5
have thought the
times in that
Colts
whole
won the
segment
division.
that Anthony Richardson needs to be better. Did I not say that?
Derek, but
I
you
not
say
say
he
that?
needs to be better, but then you say, but he has a bad offensive line. But these guys can't catch.
Yeah,
Highest
because
drop
it can
percentage.
be both.
You're
and
making
both
excuses
things can
for
be
him.
true.
Come on.
Just because one guy has to be better does not mean that that means that's the ultimate only reason why your team sucks.
Derek, his season stats: 47% completion percentage, 7 touchdowns to 11 interceptions, 7 throwing
And you
touchdowns
don't
this
include
year,
the
man.
rushing touchdowns that go into it.
I'm
And
not
on
including
top of
rushing
it,
touchdowns.
as
Dude,
I
that's a
said
running back
before,
stat.
the Colts have the highest drop percentage of every team in
Yeah,
the
but
NFL.
they haven't dropped them that much to where it dips below 50%.
Yes, they have. Yes, they have. Go watch the Lions game. I count 8 drops in that game, dude. I literally
Excuses.
watched it. I
Excuses.
watched every snap. I watch it back 3 times just to see it.
Derek,
Like, it's
I promise you, Derek, you will feel so much better if you just embrace the quarterback suck. He sucks. Just say it. Say it out loud. Release the hate, man.
Right now.
Just let go.
Certainly
I
not
promise
good.
he'll be
When has
okay.
he ever been good? If he hasn't been good at all, then he's not freaking good,
He
Derek.
was good to start his rookie
come
year.
on.
His
What?
rookie year, he was good. He was better
Before
his
there was
rookie
tape?
year than what he
Bro,
is this
the-
year.
look,
Because
all
his
last
coach
year,
sucks.
all last year we heard about these 8 quarters, how amazing these 8 quarters were. Now he gets to play a full season and he plays like dog shit. Your quarterback sucks. He is a bust. And
Yeah,
you need to
he's
move
not
on for
playing
him.
good this year,
Your
but the
whole
whole
Your
franchise
fan
is
base
a
is
joke.
saying
What do
this.
I need
Your
to
chat's
say?
saying
You're
it, dude.
saying
Come
that.
on.
This
You're
whole
a
team
joke.
sucks.
You're
the
a
whole
joke.
team sucks.
Stop trying
They
to be
shut
the
him
Houston
down
Texans.
the quarterback.
You're a
time.
joke.
I don't know, man. I
A
see
joke. Better
I
rapper
mean-
than quarterback. Don't tell me about all these drop balls when my
Okay.
offensive line can't protect CJ Stroud worth the shit. And you
All
want
right,
to talk
Ruben.
to me about drop
I
balls?
wanted
You
CJ
want to talk
Stroud.
to me
What you
about drop
mean?
balls?
I've been
Ruben,
wanting
I'm
CJ
telling
Stroud.
you,
What
the
you
rap
mean?
Oh
player
my
thing,
God.
that's
I've
almost an
seen
insult
my
to Shaq.
quarterback
Come on.
crucified all year. I've seen my quarterback say, this is a sophomore slump. I'm not bitching and complaining like you.
Oh,
Your
come
team
on,
is
dude.
garbage.
Oh, come on. We always knew your quarterback was better than mine. Of course we knew that. What you talking about?
No, I heard, 8 quarters. 8 quarters against the Houston Texans. Look at what
I
he
literally
did.
even said at the beginning that it's 50-50 on it. I don't know
No.
whether or not to believe he's the long-term answer or not.
You're over here ranting for 10 minutes about everyone else except your damn quarterback.
I literally said
continues to
that
throw the
he
ball
needed to
over.
be better.
Yeah,
I
but you
literally
say
said
he
he
needs
was
to be
gonna
better.
be
You
close.
said
yeah,
he
but-
needs to be
yeah, but-
better. He's never been
What you want
good.
from me?
He's never been good.
All right, we're going to reset here. We have Eric with a $5 donation. Says, Anthony Richardson, RB2. Is he the second best running back on your team, Derek?
I'd say, I mean, at times I would say he's number 1. Jonathan Taylor doesn't seem to,
Wow.
want to be able to hold on to the football. So
I mean, you guys love Jonathan Taylor until Anthony Richardson started playing bad. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
No, it's the whole team, Dalton. It's not Anthony
yeah,
Richardson. It's
the
the
whole
team.
team let him down.
And yeah. So also Tay says AR has the accuracy of a blind stormtrooper. HTX. We also have Paul with a $5 donation. AR is garbage. I'm a proud Colts fan, and he is horrific. And our drops ranked 19th in the NFL, not number 1 in drops by a long shot. Oh,
It's
Paul's bringing in the
no,
stats.
I said drop percentage, not
That's
number
what
of
I'm saying.
What is the
drops.
difference?
drop
Oh my
percentage.
God.
Oh gosh.
Oh my God.
This
The
team
Coping
knows
is
coping is
the
getting
football
real
insane.
now.
more than we do.
The coping is insane.
Let's not
Dude,
cherry
do
pick
we
stats.
teams throw the football more than we do? Do we not know the stats here? Do we
You
not
can
know how to
manipulate
outrank
stats like crazy in the NFL, you know?
And if my aunt had balls, she'll be my uncle.
She would be. That's a very, very true statement. All right, so we'll go ahead and, we're going to get this ugly-ass banner out of here. We'll go ahead and move it into an AFC South Week 15 recap. And, all respect to you. Look, in all seriousness, I know Houston fans love coming at me, and I like messing with you guys too. Look, you guys were the only team to win in Week 1, and you guys have held the AFC South lead since then. So, yeah, salute to the Houston Texans. But now we talk about the Jaguars. I didn't get into the Jaguars too much in our pre-segment because nothing really new going on with the Jaguars, man. We're, without Trevor Lawrence right now, we haven't fired anybody. We're just kind of a rudderless ship right now. The only thing the Jaguars can do right now is win and ruin our draft spot and win these games, these meaningless games. The Jaguars were trying to beat the New York Jets, but luckily they didn't. Devontae Adams, just insane game from him, guys. He had 0 receptions and catches in the first half. Then the second half exploded for 198 yards and 2 touchdowns. Mac Jones ended the game with a pretty horrific interception, but overall, it's the kind of game that you honestly want to see out of the Jaguars. It was back and forth. It was fun. You want to see your young guys play good. I mean, Brian Thomas Jr. is going to be an absolute beast in this league. 10 receptions, 105 yards, and 2 touchdowns for him. You also saw our second-year tight end, Britton Strange, haul in 11 receptions for 73 yards. It's a shame because we drafted this tight end in the second round of the 2023 NFL draft, and the only time the Jaguars really give him any usage is if Evan Ingram's hurt. But, we could really have a good 2 tight end set, with him in the game, but they don't really go to him much. But, yeah, I saw some good things from the offense. It's just the defense that continues to let the Jaguars down, and it's pretty much all coaching. I mean, the amount of coverage busts the Jags have in the season is just horrific. So, yeah, we have 3 tough games remaining, and by tough, I mean tough for the tank. Because you have the Raiders this upcoming Sunday, who hold the number 2 overall pick. And then you have the Titans again, which the Jaguars beat, obviously, last week. And then you end it against the Indianapolis Colts, another team that you have already defeated. So we're just kind of trying to get through this year and then figure out if anyone's going to get fired. And I know a lot of Jaguar fans want Doug Peterson and Trent Baalke fired. And it was reported that from, I think, Jordan Schultz is his name. He said that he definitely expects Doug Peterson to be gone, but he is not expecting Trent Baalke to be gone, which would be an absolute shame if that somehow does happen. So we'll just have to see. We go ahead and go on to Mike. Mike, what do you think about this Jaguars-Jets game?
You better do everything in your power to keep Brian Thomas healthy, man, because that dude's going to be something special. Ruben was talking about that earlier in the show.
Elite.
He is going to be something special. He made Sauce Gardner look ridiculous the whole game, take away that last interception, but still, it was a good old-fashioned just kind of fist fight up till the end. Entertaining game. Aaron Rodgers shook a little bit of magic out at the end, but, embrace the suck.
Absolutely. Okay, we'll go to you, Derek.
Yeah, I mean, definitely a very interesting one there. I mean, I thought something very interesting was going to happen at the very beginning of that, but find another way to lose every single week, and it's just like the remainder of this division, except for Ruben's Texans, always trying to find a way to lose every single game. So yeah, I mean, enjoy losing again, I guess.
All right, Ruben, we'll get your thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing the Jags have to look forward to, man, is getting close to that number 1 overall pick as they can. Like Michael said, the only thing that you got really going right for you is Brian Thomas Jr. He's someone I wanted at 23 for the Houston Texans. Unfortunately, we traded back to, get Stephon Diggs in the second round. But this is a guy that needs, 20 targets for the rest of the season going forward. And he really is electrifying. These LSU wide receivers, man, like the transition to the NFL is just insane for that unit. But as far as Jacksonville, man, lose these games, like you mentioned, it's going to be hard to win when both teams are pretty bad, but just get as close to that number 1 overall pick as you can. This was an entertaining, game though, right? It looked like Jacksonville was strong towards the very end, and then, they just collapsed. But a fun game overall, UCF.
Absolutely, man. Like I said, definitely the kind of game that you want to play for the Jaguars. A game that's back and forth, close, but ultimately you do lose. So next I want to go ahead and go into the Houston Texans game. But first, these streams are all powered by BetUS. So we're going to go ahead and look at some different odds on here. And the one that we're going to look at is, look at this, 2025 NFL Super Bowl winner. Let's see where BetUS actually has the Houston Texans. So we have here, I think let's see, Bills and Eagles are favorites. They're at plus 450. Then right behind them, you have the Detroit Lions at plus 500. And then the The Chiefs are actually fourth highest at plus 550. And then you have Baltimore Ravens at plus 800. If we scroll down to the Houston Texans are plus 3,500. So BetUS apparently doesn't really believe in the Houston Texans to win this one. If we actually put $20 down on this one, you can win $700. So Texans fans, if you are, I know Ruben says he isn't feeling too confident about it, but look, I know Houston fans are loud and proud about their team. So if you guys want to, risk it a little bit, BetUS has an awesome promo code for you. YouTube 150 is going to get you a 150% deposit bonus. I'm going to put $20 on the Houston Texans to win on my personal account to win $700. So, with all that said, Houston Texans fans can't call me haters because I'm putting my money where my mouth is and I could become rich, okay? I could get so rich I could retire on the round table and you guys will never see me again.
We're starting to like you, UCF.
I don't think so.
Yeah, it's gonna take a while, bro. But you're one of our favorites for sure.
That's good. It's good to hear. But yeah, shout out to BetUS for powering this stream. So with all that said, we'll go ahead and talk about. Let me get these things back up here. I think this is it. Boom. All right, cool. So obviously the Houston Texans game this weekend, they hosted the Miami Dolphins. It was quite an interesting game. Tua had 3 interceptions. CJ Stroud pretty good in a touchdown interception ratio 2-0, even though passing yards weren't very high up there. But with all that said, they get an ugly win, but ugly wins as good as a pretty win, and they improved to 9-5, and that is good enough to win the AFC South with 3 games remaining on the season. So, Ruben, give us your overall thoughts about this game.
Yeah, this was one where you just feel confident in your Houston Texans defense going forward. Entering this game, I think since coming back from injury, Tua was like 16 touchdowns, 1 interception, and you made him look like a fool yesterday. Derek Stingley got 2 of them covering Tyreek Hill. And after yesterday, man, Derek Stingley has to be in conversations of one of the best cornerbacks in the NFL. Now, boys, his contract extension is coming to an end next season, so we might be talking about a bag for Mr. Derek Stingley in the offseason. We saw our rookie Kalen Bullock pick off Tua also. It should have been 2. He's making a case for himself as Defensive Rookie of the Year. Both Will Anderson and Daniel Hunter had a sack. Like, this defense right now is firing on all cylinders. And that's with losing Azeez Al-Shaair suspension. That's with losing Jalen Petrie for the year. Yet this unit remains elite. On the offensive side, you saw Titus Howard move from right tackle to left guard and a rookie Blake Fisher to right tackle. Now, CJ Stroud was still sacked 4 times. The bar for this offensive line, boys, is very low. This unit just needs to get more games together and hopefully come playoff time, man, they're firing. But as far as it goes, man, I view this as a big win for the Houston Texans, given the fact that Miami was coming in, winners of 4 out of their last 5. They were in the wild card race, and I consider this a big one for the Texans, man. There's not really a lot to talk about because the offense didn't do too much. Only 131 yards from CJ Stroud. Now, there was a drop touchdown pass to John Mechie, which would have given him about 40, 50 more yards, and maybe we're having a different day. But overall, your defense stepped up, and your offense did just enough to get you the dub.
Yeah, I mean, it's insane. Only 181 total yards on the day for the Houston Texans. And you talk about Derek Stingley, man. I feel like every time I look up at Red Zone, Derek Stingley is always getting another interception. And his big thing about him is that, he was usually injured a lot. Has the injuries kind of cleaned up a little bit for him?
So this is the first year, knock on wood, he's been healthy the entire season. And when we talk about Stingley, it's never been a matter of talent. We know he's one of the best, but he just needs to be healthy. This year, he is healthy, and he's just locking down guys. And, the conversation between him and Sauce Gardner, it's over. It's over. Derek Stingley is a much better cornerback than Sauce. As far as interceptions, I think it's 9-2. Derek Stingley, man, he legit is a elite cornerback in this league. I would hate to see him on another team, but he's having himself a fantastic year now that he's healthy.
Yeah, speaking of Sauce Gardner, BTJ kind of cooked him this weekend, but we've already talked about the Jaguars. We can go ahead and move on. Once again, congrats to the Houston Texans for winning this game and winning the AFC South. Next, we'll go ahead and we'll talk about the Tennessee Titans. They hosted the Cincinnati Bengals in a Mike Callahan rematch game. They were hoping for a little bit of juice. Of course, Will Levis threw the early threw 3 interceptions this game, including a pick 6. He was eventually benched for, Mason Rudolph, who went in there and threw a couple of tutties, but the Tennessee Titans did lose this game 37-27. Mike, let's get your thoughts about this game.
Be honest, it was a tale of 2 games. In the first quarter, the Titans really looked just on their game. Everything was just clicking. The offense was moving methodically. And then just whatever happened in the second quarter, Will Levis just completely melted down and just could never recover from it. Defensively, we had a lot of opportunities to potentially get our offense the ball back, but we just couldn't do anything. We literally were in a punt situation or an interception situation. This game should have got out of hand really quick. Joe Burrow should have had a bigger game, and I can understand why he was frustrated at the end of the game. I mean, they probably could have threw 80 on him with the way things were going, but, awful sloppy football, just penalties, just turnovers, just everything was going wrong for both teams in that way. And, of course, Will Levis, honestly, I think just finally just this experiment that we called the Will Levis experiment is now over. Close the mayo, put away the bananas. I think it's done with this situation at this point. So the Titans are now looking to the future. Mason Rudolph's going to handle business for the next 3 games. So it'll be interesting to see how we play this out. And I expect a heavy dose of the run game. So not expecting a lot from Mason Rudolph. Just come in, handle business, and we'll see what happens with these next 3 games going forward.
And it's a rough year to have a bad record. I mean, the Tennessee Titans are 3-11, but they're only number 6 in the Tankathon rankings. Man, I mean, there are many years where 3-11 will get you the number 1 or number 2 overall pick. So we'll see how this thing shakes out. Of course, the Titans have another game against the Jaguars, which is just some. And do you guys play the rest of the AFC South, right? 1 game each.
That is 3. We're playing 3 straight against you guys. So We'll start with Derek, then we'll end up with Hugh Dalton, and we'll finish off with Ruben. So we could honestly go 3-0 with the situation at hand because Derek, we'll see how that plays out with the quarterback. Dalton, we know you're tanking, and Ruben, week 18, pretty sure you guys are going to be resting some of your guys.
Derek's going to blame everyone else but Anthony Richardson when y'all lose that game.
When he goes 8 for 19.
8 for 19,
98 yards,
3 interceptions. But he had a rushing touchdown though.
Yeah,
he had a rushing touchdown though.
The drop, not the drop percentages, guys, not the drops.
Right,
were an all-time high that game.
That's so crazy, right? We thought we were talking about the drops, percentages. Oh my God, what are we talking about?
All right,
here?
so we'll go ahead and move into. Actually, no, we got to get
at him. Look at him. He's mad. He's so pissed off right now.
Love how passionate you are talking about my quarterback. I love it.
He sucks.
Dude, we're matching your passion, bro. We're matching your passion.
Just last week, you were talking about how my team was going to choke this division away. Now you're sitting there reclined, and you got no life in you, brother.
Am I not allowed to have confidence in my team and then have it squashed every single week? It's how it's supposed to be.
All right, but let's not disrespect Mike, okay? We're talking about the Tennessee Titans. Right. So, Derek, I want you to talk about the Titans, and I want you to stay on the Titans and not bring up Anthony Richardson. Go.
Got it. Yeah, Mike brought up the great point at the very beginning. I was watching now. I'm like, how in the freaking world is Tennessee like looking like as if they're like the Kansas City Chiefs or something? Right at the beginning. I mean, they were putting it to the Cincinnati Bengals. I was like, oh no, is Cincinnati really about to lose this because their defense literally can't stop the Tennessee Titans offense? Then sure enough, we saw the Will Levis that we all know and love. And, now he's benched and we may never see Will Levis ever again, sort of thing like that. So, I figured at some point the Cincinnati Bengals were going to put this one away. I mean, honestly, the score is a lot closer than what it actually was at one point in that fourth quarter. So, it is what it is. Tennessee does a great job of getting your hopes up early. And then same thing that happens with my team. We just don't adapt and we just end up, just blowing it at the end.
It always has to come full circle to the Indianapolis Colts. So we'll go ahead and give it to Ruben. Ruben, your thoughts about this one?
About the Colts game?
Yeah, about the Titans game.
Oh, well, like this was something that we talked going in. We saw that the Bengals were -5, right, on BetUS, and we were like, oh my God, there's no way. But the fact that they put up 37 points, you expect that. I think the experiment with Will Levis is over. And it always sucks to get benched whenever your ex-girlfriend is in the stand also. Very tough for Will. But you felt like that this coaching staff didn't believe in Will Levis from the very start. And we saw that as the weeks went by. Definitely think Tennessee goes into the offseason just looking at, just to start everything brand new. So it's not bad, but as far as right now going forward, man, they just have to keep on stacking and get these L's and get as close to number one as possible. A expected loss, but a fun loss, given the fact that you had Joe Burrow upset after the game talking about how crap they were and they put up 37.
Yeah, it's man, Will Levis is definitely volatile, man. It's the interceptions, just the backbreaking interceptions really is what did him in. And it's not like he's even a young quarterback. I mean, Will Levis is literally older than Trevor Lawrence, which is kind of crazy to think. But
Wait,
I mean,
what?
Will Levis is older than Trevor Lawrence.
Damn.
Yeah. So he's a little longer than a tooth than a lot of people thought. But yeah, the Tennessee Titans, I mean, I when I saw the spread, I mean, like Ruben was saying, it was like a 5-point spread. I was like,
5 points.
I was like, man, that's seems a little bit small. But I mean, the Bengals, they're a fascinating case. I mean, I can't believe they're 6-8 behind that offense, but of course their defense isn't great. But we'll see if they decide to do anything with Zach Taylor, because I know I'll be looking at it because the Jaguars will most likely be looking for a new head coach. So we'll see how that wraps up. So next, we can go ahead and move on. How about we talk about the Indianapolis Colts, okay? The Colts, in a must-win game, the Colts could have improved to 7-7, really getting themselves in the AFC wildcard spot, especially against a Broncos team where they could have potentially, beat them and got that tiebreaker. So I think Derek has some stuff to say about this game. Derek, let's hear it.
Just the same old story, the same old Colts that we're always used to seeing in the biggest of moments ever since Chris Ballard's taken over this team. They continue to find another way to lose. And unfortunately, that's what losing organizations do. They find new ways to lose all the time. And that's what happened here. It's hard to believe that it was a 13-10 ball game going into the fourth quarter. Like, that's how close it was. And yet here we are sitting, the Denver Broncos scored 21 in the fourth quarter and made it look like as if it was a blowout, when in actuality, the Colts had every opportunity to be able to win this game. I mean, the second quarter, you fumble on the first drive of the game. Obviously, Jonathan Taylor drops the ball before it goes into the end zone, and that's a touchback. You end up punting on the next possession because Danny Pinter got called for a holding on a little 3-yard run by Jonathan Taylor, and that ruined the drive. And then the next drive, Michael Pittman fumbles the ball at the 25-yard line, and that gives Denver free points. You punt a couple more times, and then at the very end, you end up doing that stupid trick play. I still cannot believe that Shane Steichen ended up calling that. It was the first time since the first quarter that the Indianapolis Colts were realistically moving down the field. You were running the football well. You were passing it well for that time being. And then you decide to run a trick play, forcing the wide receiver, the rookie wide receiver, to try to throw a little flea flicker action back to Anthony Richardson, only for the defensive lineman who was reading the play the whole way to intercept it and then end up returning it for a pick six. And then, you had turnover on downs in the next possession, and then it was another interception because at that point you were down multiple scores. It was an epic collapse by the Indianapolis Colts. Like we said, this game, this was it for the season. The Colts have an 8% chance to make it to the playoffs at this point. And that's just it. They really don't have any chance at this point. And I'm disappointed. I'm really disappointed because you had a 13-3 lead and you couldn't hold on to it. And it wasn't the fact that the Denver Broncos beat you. You beat yourselves. And it's the same excuse every time. It always happens. The Colts don't lose games by teams beating them. We beat ourselves. And that's what's the most frustrating aspect of this.
Just out to Paul, he says, I still love you, Derek. I just can't defend AR anymore. I even wore an AR jersey week 1 at the Texans game. AR isn't the guy. Hashtag fire Ballard.
Yeah,
Well, I hope you kept that receipt.
Yeah.
I hope you kept that receipt, man. I got that jersey insurance.
This boy Bruce in the comments is mad, dude. I mean, I'll be mad too if I was an Indianapolis Colts fan and I saw my quarterback just give the game away. You know, I'll be horrible, and then I'll be upset also.
Yeah, guys, please get along the chat, okay? Please get along. I don't want to have to go in here and separate anybody. But yeah, that's what happens when you have these AFC South shows. We all get into each other, right, guys? Ruben, let's hear your thoughts about this Colts game.
I mean, it was a game where, last week we heard how excited Derek was about the opportunity to get something going and, the Texans potentially falling off. But once again, we're back to the conversation about the quarterback, Anthony Richardson, how he just cannot stop turning over the football, how he is just inaccurate. And yes, I understand, Derek, that other factors play into your quarterback having a shitty stat line. But at the end of the day, your guy needs to get things done, and he just simply can't right now. And this was something that you knew going into the draft with his limited experience in college, with his limited experience in high school. This is what you signed up for, is the project of Anthony Richardson. Now you have to decide this offseason whether or not he is a long-term guy with a future, head coach coming into this season. Before the stream, you were saying fire everyone. On the stream, you said it. I just don't see a future here for Anthony Richardson. I think it is a slippery slope going on with the Indianapolis Colts after this loss. I mean, hell, the comments brought it up. Even you were wearing Denver Broncos colors, man. They did you that bad. But it just a heartbreaking loss for Indianapolis. They have a lot of questions going into the offseason. Maybe a new head coach, maybe a new quarterback, maybe a new front office.
Yeah, so you can go ahead and join the losers table with me and Mike, where we have no postseason aspirations. And
sing that song, Derek.
We're dead inside.
Hey, Derek, you want to sing the song for us or no?
No, I might do it next week.
What are you gonna do with that guy? Because
I don't have much in me right now.
You look cooked right now. You look cooked.
I'm so distraught.
You need a good stiff drink.
It wasn't even the fact that we lost. It's the way that we lost that makes it so much worse. I mean, the fact that you had every opportunity to win that game. You had every opportunity to win it, and to watch the team collapse the way that it did. I'm sad. I'm very sad.
Derek, if you need to turn the camera off and go hug your new fiance, you can do that, man. We'll give you the 5. There you go. Okay.
He didn't think twice about that. He's gone.
Yeah. I think he needs a hug.
Really
to be completely honest. But yeah, all right, we'll go ahead and move on. Mike, overall thoughts about the Colts losing to the Broncos 31-13.
Derek, I can't look at those big puppy dog eyes and just beat you like, beating a whale on a dock with an oar, because that's just easy money right there.
I think he's wanting to be hunted. He's wearing that bright orange jacket.
I mean,
I deserve.
Ruben called it out. I feel like
he hunted and speared and die and just.
No, Ruben called it out earlier. It's like he's dressed in Broncos colors. He got broke so damn bad. He's wearing the opposing team's colors.
I was like, I'll wear Denver Broncos colors and see if everybody notices. And I'm like, yeah, I don't even care at this point.
Like, oh my God, it's bad. He's gonna start talking in Sean Payton euphemisms in a minute. They broke you, dude.
I'm just frustrated, man. I hate the situation that we're in, man. I really do. And I'm sure everyone here is probably, I'm sure everybody on this channel would say that if they had to choose between Ballard staying or leaving, that we would probably say that Ballard probably isn't a very good GM at this point.
Hey, I called it in the offseason, bro. I said that Ballard is overrated. I said he's overrated, and like he hits on some good players every now and then in the mid drafts, but he doesn't extend himself in free agency. He doesn't go for the kill. He goes for the second option, and that's not what. And if you build a good team through the draft, you need to spend money on free agency when it comes to home run guys. Get top of the market guys. Don't just say, "Oh, they spent money on him, so we'll get the next option." Because
who wants to go to Indianapolis? Nobody.
when was the last big free agent you guys signed, Derek? Like the big free agent you guys got?
I mean, do you count? I would count Stephon Gilmore back in 2022. He was really good that year.
He was old.
He was
wasn't
40, right?
What's up?
He was like 35, 33, 34.
He was 31.
He's not even in the league anymore. He's not in the league anymore. That was 2 years
he's
ago.
not in the league anymore. Yeah,
he was an
was
old wide
just
cornerback.
after this year.
No
yeah.
one wants to go to
At
Indianapolis.
31,
He was
cornerback
very,
is
he
so
was
old at
very
31.
good. He was very good in 2022. He's one of the few actual good pieces that we had, but we traded him we traded him mid-season because when the season was getting out of control and we knew that we weren't fighting for anything, we traded him away to the Dallas Cowboys because Ballard at least had enough humility to understand that Stephon Gilmore deserved better than Indianapolis.
You'd have to go to the DeForest Buckner trade.
Yeah,
to
like a
actually see
trade.
some
Yeah, and that's
value.
not
I was
even
thinking the
that's
same
not
thing.
even a free agency acquisition. That's a trade. You
And
know,
that
like
was
I
so
can't-
long
Exactly.
ago.
You have to trade for people to
No
be on
one
your
wants to
team.
go to Indy. The weather's horrible. The food's bad. I mean, I went to the clubs out there. The woman ain't good. Like
Derek
bro,
doesn't
it's
even live
club.
in Indy.
The club's
No,
it's a fucking
dude, I
cornfield
can't
out with a
afford-
dance
it's
floor.
can't
That's
afford
what the
rough,
club's
brother.
is.
I can't afford to live in Indy, bro. That shit
And
expensive.
the city has Anthony Richardson in it,
And they got no gas there. Come on, what are we
driving
doing,
property
man?
values down. Ridiculous.
I really cannot honestly tell you like one single free agency signing that I said, oh yeah, that's like franchise changing sort of aspirations here. Like it doesn't happen with Chris Ballard.
Yeah,
He's
what it is, man.
the writing's on the wall. He's done.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, when you that's and the big thing about really the Indianapolis Colts under him is that he the Colts, like, they'll have these good seasons where they're teetering around 500, but they need to win that big game, and they don't. They lose it, and then all of a sudden Colts fans are out, and then they rattle off a couple of victories against, whatever teams, and then they bring them back, and then the next must-win game, they lose. And then Ballard talks to people at the end of the year, acting like he's the smartest guy in the room, acting like all the beat reporters are dummies, and that's just how he is. He's just a I don't know what the word for it. A very arrogant guy. Very arrogant guy. Thinks he's the smartest guy in the room. And we'll see if he, it's a lot like Trent Baalke with our owner. It's like, is he just so in Jim Irsay's pocket where I wonder if Jim Irsay does make a move? I do think Jim Irsay will, because he's a lot more passionate about the game than I feel like Shad Khan is. But we'll see. We'll see. Lots of interesting stuff to go on. At the end of the year when it comes to potential guys getting released from coaching staffs and front offices and things like that. But with all that said, guys, that is going to conclude this episode of the AFC South Roundtable. I'll go ahead and put it up again, where the Houston Texans are AFC South champions. So big congrats to Ruben on that. He's holding the belt. He's drinking, I don't know, he's drinking out of a goblet. What were you drinking? Like orange juice?
The Honda Civic, baby. Shout out to OVO.
Okay. Yeah, we don't condone drinking on this show, so I'd appreciate you put that. Thank you.
My bad, brother.
But with all that said, thank you guys so much for joining here. And also, before you guys leave, man, please do us a favor, drop a like on this stream. It helps out the channel a bunch. Also, subscribe to us, and also subscribe to all the other roundtable shows, man. I mean, if every single person here subscribed to all different shows, we would basically gain 9 total subscriptions on all the divisions and the host and the mother channel. And the more subscriptions you get, the more opportunities for videos there get. And then we could literally be sitting here one day with daily shows here on the AFC South Roundtable.
Imagine, boys.
It all starts with you guys, man. You guys keep tuning in and watching, and really the sky is the limit over here. So I appreciate everyone. Also, guys, shout out to BetUS. The stream was powered by them. You know, we went through and put some money on the Houston Texans to win the Super Bowl. We'll see if that comes out. If you guys are interested in doing that as well, use promo code YouTube150 for a 150% deposit bonus up to $2,000. And with that said, we will see you either Thursday or Friday with our previews for this upcoming week's games. And yeah, appreciate everyone for being here, and we'll see you guys next time.